I just remembered the Gibson Custom Shop has a special place where they list things. You gotta go to Custom, and then you gotta come down to Gibson Custom Select. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I ran across a brand new Les Paul Custom that blew my mind when I was looking up the price for a modern day Les Paul Custom for a video. However, I'd kind of forgotten about this until very recently. From what I can tell, they get very little marketing push. It's not like the new dark purple burst from Gibson USA or the Jason Isbell. They get hidden just a little bit further down. We've actually talked about this once before, like you remember this? The really cool Blue Widow SG Custom that has the abalone markers and the unique matching headstock painted over. First time I ever seen abalone done up like this. This is the section where the gold sparkle heavy flake 355 as well as the silver sparkle version live, and the Gibson.com exclusive ebony block SG standard, as well as the custom version sleeps. So let's go ahead and take a look at these today. First, for $8,100, we have an interesting Quilt Sapele Les Paul Murphy Labs aged custom. And I don't know about you guys, but I am in love. It's so unique and refreshing. Usually I think Sapele woods like import model guitars, but this one being all quilty, appears to be one piece even, makes it so fascinating. A regular Les Paul custom's like $5,500, so yeah, you're paying quite a premium, but it's Murphy aged, so that adds a small premium, and you get the slightly more exotic woods. It's not like a traditional quilt top. I'm not sure if this would be like my Burl maple top Les Paul custom that doesn't have tons of movement to it, just really heavy wood grain, but this particular one right here has like a knot in the wood, and at first I was like, that kind of ruins it, but it's kind of grown on me. This is not a particular year reissue custom. It'll still have your long neck tenon, but it's got the Nashville style bridge, so its base model truly is the base level Les Paul custom. But Sapele, I do believe, is within the mahogany family of woods, so it's kinda like a 57 reissue, just without the ABR1. Moving on to the face of the headstock, you can see it's pretty much just a regular custom outside of the ambert over lacquer. You can see some of the aging process going on here. But then we were in for a real treat on the back. Factory headstock stinger, cool. It's one thing to get that within the mod collection where they've kind of overproduced them at this point, but hey, they're cruise control for cool, I can't blame them. But Gibson Custom Shop factory stingers, they're still not as plentiful on the market, so that makes this guitar even cooler. But I would say in general, the mahogany used on this one is relatively light. It made me question, is it still mahogany? And according to this, it is, as is our neck. And it's spec'd specifically with a dark ebony fretboard. What is that about? Why would they put that on a one-off guitar? Here's the thing, this series started as one-off, see, one of one on all these, and they've since sold out. However, this is not listed as a one of one. So if you were to order this, I'm not sure you're going to get that exact guitar. That appears to be some sort of a stock image. You might get that one, or it might be some other different top. I actually called up the Gibson garage to see if they'd be getting any of these, and they said yes, they will. So that tells me there's definitely going to be more of these. As far as our pickups, looks like your regular 490R 498T set, and we're rocking a 50s rounded medium C neck profile. Pretty basic outside of your Quilt Sapele top, as well as your stinger. The only thing that would have made this release even better for me is if they said, hey, we're only making 10. That way it's a published limited edition release, because that's what always gets me excited and helps the guitar in the long run as far as the history books are concerned, rather than it getting lost to time. And just as a little update here, the garage did get one in and they sent me some additional photos. This one does not have the Harry Potter scar if you weren't into that, but they were able to confirm for me it's going to be more so like the Burl top Les Paul custom, where it's not like crazy moving, the quilt just refers to the wood grain styling. But having chrome hardware on here is pretty cool, and you can just vaguely see some of the finish checking that they threw on it. That was my favorite one, but we still have a bunch more to talk about. They've got the same thing, but in SG standard format for $7,400. Seems kind of expensive, but let's take a look. That's an interesting top. I don't know if I would consider it quilty, but it has like this melted caramel-like vibe. I do enjoy it if I was in the market for a slightly more regular SG that just had extra wood grain. Zooming into the ABR1 bridge, almost looks like you have brass thumb wheels on this one. I wonder if that's just the aging getting a little bit too extreme. But now we flip over to the back. Oh, that is actually pretty cool. So this one's not a top necessarily, even though you can do that with an SG. This is just a straight up quilty Sapele body. I would love to see more photos of these to see how the other ones turned out. Some of these might be cooler than others. It also has that really light colored mahogany neck, and they gave it the matching stinger like our last one. But this one they've spec'd it out as dark Indian rosewood with a 60s neck. But nice, we've got the custom bucker pickups in this one. The reason for that being, this is actually a posted year reissue, and everything else seems to be pretty regular. But if you crave something just a little bit more traditional, you might enjoy the faded peckin. It's a little bit more expensive at $9,299, but you read that right. This is a one-piece quilt top. Gibson doesn't do the whole one-piece thing that often. However, it seems the custom shop has been getting a little bit saucier lately as far as sourcing these really cool woods and using them. Maybe we'll start to see them more often, but if you've always hated the two-piece center seam line of a custom, you might enjoy paying a premium for something like this. I like this top. It's unique. I bet it would move a lot in person, because I know it looks a little bit more plain over here, but that looks like the exact kind that's gonna dance a lot. But it's all blinged out in gold. Again, regular Nashville style bridge, so not a specific year reissue, so you're paying a huge premium for that top. But I love this pecan finish. It kind of reminds me of like a dirty honey burst in a way. It's got like a little bit of red and orange up here, but it fades out. Our headstock, just like the last one, was left alone outside of a tinted clear coat. However, I do not see any mention of Murphy Labs aging on this one, so you really are paying about a $4,000 premium for that one-piece quilt top. Let's check out the back. Anything special here? Doesn't look like it outside of awesome wood grain on this example. I love that mahogany body, and then you get to the neck, that is super dense, heavy grain stuff. That's what all custom shop necks could look like. You know, when we talk about the heavy aniline dyed ones, that's the exact kind of wood stock. And even though slightly less traditional, I prefer it this way. Grovers are really nice tuners, but this would've looked so good with waffle backs. But again, looks like a pretty basic humbucker set, 490R, 498T, with a 50s rounded neck, and spec'd with dark ebony, regardless of the example you get. Because remember, this one's not listed as one of one either. That means if anybody wants to New Guitar Day one of these, it should be eligible. Feel free to message me to find out more. But our next one for this journey is the one that started it all, that tipped me off to new models. It's Orange Twilight Fade for a staggering $10,200. Listed as a 5A quilt top, one piece again. I would have to vastly disagree with that grading. I really don't even see that much quilting in general, but you know, maybe have to appreciate it in person. But I do like the finish. It's a little bit darker than what that last one was. Got a little bit more reds around the entire edge, not as washed out. But again, it's just a baseline custom, so you're paying almost twice just for the top that they've put on it. This one does not appear to be Murphy aged, just a creamy clear coat. Although this one has a much darker back with a red color. I'm not sure if that's fully aniline dyed or maybe it's just a really light job. I could tell in person you might have a little bit of dancing in this headstock. But for me, so far, it's the most expensive and the least exciting. It really is just the top and color for that one. But it is a cool finish, Orange Twilight Fade. But now we have two new exclusive Quilt Top 59 reissues. These are about $6,800 brand new for a regular one, and these are $9,000. They're advertised as two-piece 5A quilts. So our first one is AA Whiskey Fade. All right, that's a better quilt top. That's closer to that definition. It's untraditional and unique. It's not going to speak to everyone. I think that's why they're not sending it out to 100 million dealers, keeping it Gibson.com and garage exclusive. However, like I was talking earlier, the more quilting you get, typically the less movement. It's more so something you appreciate the grainage for, and it's just the light movement within the bubbles. But the nice thing about that is they photograph fantastically at any angle. Our headstock looks basic. This one almost looks like just a rustic walnut back color. I do enjoy that. I wonder if these get a special COA or anything. That would make it cool. But we've got just a regular serial number. Or maybe they could get a special case, but all these just listed it as custom shop hard shell, so I'd imagine it'd be the R9 Lifton style reissue case. So that was Double Whiskey Fade, but we also have Potato Burst, which is apparently already sold out. For a name like Russet Burst, I was really hoping for like a furry brown quilt top, something a little bit darker than what we just saw. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the type of quilt top you'll want. That's gonna have tons of movement. I can see why this one's currently sold out. It just looks like an iced tea finish in my opinion, but it has a slightly different name to it. But again, it's the exact same model, 59 reissue, ABR1 bridge, all that good stuff. Headstock left alone, but maybe that one should have went to the demo shop. Less power. And this one just has the regular aniline dyed. I'm not so sure about that one. But I suppose here's the thing. They're advertising it as a one-piece lightweight mahogany back, which most custom shop stuff, it's not terrible, but I don't see them listing the particular weights of each. So I guess it really depends on how light is lightweight, because people will pay crazy premiums to have sub 8-pound R9s that are solid body. So those are the 6 new options that they've dropped. Which one was your favorite? I'm gonna stick with the Sapeles after looking at all of them, as these are cool, but they have kind of existed in the past in a roundabout way. But I can't think of another time that Gibson has openly advertised Sapele within the custom shop. But since we've got a little bit of time left tonight, let's do a quick lightning round of the other ones that are also available, in case you missed our previous episodes. You've got a black Carina Flying V. In my opinion, I don't think that's worth paying a $1,500 premium for. I would consider it for a $1,500 discount because you're not seeing the cool wood grain. The exact same thing is true for the Carina Explorer. Baseline level, these guitars are $10,000, but they're being priced for a $1,500 premium. But okay. I see where I've messed up. These are now Murphy Lab Light aged. So the 1500's not for the ebony finish, it's for the aging. And to be fair, ebony guitars that are aged look the best when they start to get some finish checking. So, okay, I totally get it now and I can see why somebody would want it. See, it was these listings that threw me off. They do have custom color Carinas that are not aged, and that's why I got confused. So this one's Frost Blue VOS for an $1,100 premium. It's quite cool. We have seen some dealers get exclusive custom colors like this, and seeing as how few of these they will probably actually produce, long term, you might have a slightly better return on something like this, or at least have a slightly higher resale value, whether it's above or below initial retail. They also had a Kerry Green version, if that's a little bit more to your style. Again, non-aged. But similar thing here, they have a Murphy Lab 57 Reissue Junior for $6,500. That looks a little bit more heavily aged than light aged in my opinion, but hey, if you want that beat up Junior for marginally cheaper than a vintage original, you might consider it. I mean, as far as relic jobs go, it's alright. I've certainly seen far worse. They also have the same thing in the double cut TV Yellow Juniors. These things are so cool with your tortoiseshell pick guards. But you can see they've rounded over the edge on this one. And did all your similar treatments to your headstock, as well as on the back. Although not quite as much wear on the actual backside of the instrument. Then a 10,057 reissue, heavy aged. But this is a one of one. You can see they've got the finish checking all over it. That's not exactly what I want out of a heavy aged gold top. I would like to see them recreate the greening. If they could do that and get the straight across finish checking, that'd be more fun to me. But whoa, golden stinger, that happened. Maybe it's just the photos, but some of the light aged ones look heavier aged than this. But the golden stinger is kind of funny because it's almost like somebody took an all gold, stripped it back, but left the headstock alone in the stinger, so there can be a little bit of a historic thing with that. But I thought this was ebony, but no, it's dark ox blood. So that means it's gonna look ebony for the most part, but when you really get in its face, it's actually a super ultra dark red. And yeah, it's got all the finish checking to make that thing look cool. Probably one better appreciated in person. But this one is a 1 of 157, which at first might not sound that fantastic, but hey, this is supposed to be a gold top and it's ebony. All over and aged. And this one's already found a home. It was a 1 of 1. Listed as Brunswick Red. Okay, alright, I see it now. You have to really zoom in on that photo to see what's going on, but that's a super dark red. I would almost call that oxblood sparkle. But then there was the true ebony one. This is an $1,100 antique Pelham Blue that was a one-off Carina V. This one was kind of interesting. $5,000. There was a collector's choice very similar to this. This one just doesn't have the aging, so I can see why that sold. And this was just a VOS version of that 57 in ebony. I do like this one. The heavy aged olive drab. Yeah, that one worked out great because look, you can see the flame maple figuring right here. Gibson needs to do a limited edition run, a posted one of like 50. Have them be gold tops or even crazy colors like these, but spec them out with at least this side like super flamey and wear around the age. That is something that would sell. Then we also got the 63 one-off Oxblood again. You can kind of see the effect a little bit better on this SG special. And then finally tonight, I don't remember seeing this one, Crimson Burst. Vaguely reminds me of Dark Wine Burst from the late 90s. Cherry 335s are super popular, so having a slight variation on that, I can see why it went. Alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of these guitars you saw here, you can find them on Gibson's website. Or if you want to see it on the show before it gets to you, check out my new Guitar Day program on my website. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.